with Aastha. This is Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and such a pleasure to be online. I really look forward to this Sunday live when we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn all together. So, all those of you who will be joining on any of these three platforms, very warm welcome to all of you. Yes, so I'm just waiting for some of you to join in. Meanwhile, I can quickly introduce myself for those of you who don't know me and are watching me for the first time. I'm Aastha Tatia, daughter of two rock-solid pillars, mother to a lovely daughter, wife of a humor king, an engineer, MBA, corporate executive turned anchor person, now an author and a happiness coach, helping corporate leaders build deep connections and meaningful relationships in their organizations. And that is what my book, Survive or Thrive, is pretty much about. And you know why I'm talking about it is because this is the Survive or Thrive series. The topic for today is how to powerfully bring in that change that you so desire. And somewhere you are struggling. In the past live sessions, we spoke about where are you, the reality check, starting from there, and what is it that is causing you to remain stuck. We spoke about the limiting beliefs last time, what holds you back, right? So we're just going to move to the next level today, that you want to do the work, you are stuck, you want to bring about that change. What is it that holds you back? How can you really put aside everything and bring about that change? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Just to let you know, those of you who join in, please drop in a hi. Let me know your name, where are you joining from, so that I can welcome you. Because otherwise I would not know who's there, who's watching live. So thank you for joining in live, all those of you who are live. And also those of you who would be watching this later, the recorded version, thank you so much for your time. And please drop in a hi, your name, where you are from, okay? And also as we talk, to make the most of this session, so that you get the maximum, I get my learnings, let's make it a dialogue. So whatever your questions are, if there are any, please put them in the chat box. If there are any thoughts that you have about whatever we are talking, if you are reflecting upon whatever I'm saying and you get some insight about your life, please go ahead and share, because like I always say, two things happen when you share. There are others who get benefited by it. They may be thinking the same thing. They may be having the same query. So it benefits everybody. And number two, when you share, sometimes you generate insights for yourself just by sharing. And then as we talk about it, it is quite insightful, right? And of course, I learn as well. So yes, please go ahead and participate. I would really want that. And today, we will be talking about how to powerfully bring in that change. Wherever it is, whether it's your personal space, whether it's your professional space, how do you bring about that change? So I'm going to be talking about this, and this is basically chapter 4 of my book, Survive or Thrive, and it is about a powerful beginning, okay? So last time when we spoke, we spoke about the limiting beliefs. Yeah, what are those beliefs that you pick up from your childhood, from your experiences, from whatever you've heard from people, and you are stuck with those beliefs. Those beliefs are governing you. You may have formed a belief in your childhood, something happened and you formed that belief, and it is still governing you even in your adulthood. Yeah. Now, the thing is that you may wonder, okay, I have those beliefs. Now I know I want to do this work on myself. Okay, I want to go beyond these beliefs. I'm doing that work, but I keep going back to my old self. So let's say if it's my anger that I'm working on, I go back to that anger again and again. Happens? I'm sure. Look at your lives and see what is that habit, what is that pattern that you're trying to overcome. And then you see that you keep going back to your old self. If it's anger, you go back to your anger. If it's being stressed all the time, thinking negative all the time, if it is about being overwhelmed all the time, right? You decide, you start to work, you identify, you start to get aware, and yet every time you go back to being the same old person. Happens? Now that's where I want to let you know it is absolutely fine. Once again, I'm going to go ahead. Everybody who's joined in, thank you so much for joining in. Please drop in a hi along with your name, where you're from, so that I can welcome you. Yeah, it really means a lot because these live sessions make sense only when you're there. And if you're there, I would really want to acknowledge that. So please drop in a hi. Yes, meanwhile, I'm going to read out from the chapter 4. So, limiting beliefs, talking about the limiting beliefs. If these limiting beliefs of yours, remember we spoke about whether these beliefs are just beliefs, as the name suggests, or they are the truth. They are your reality. I mean, yes, they are your reality because that's what you're living day in and day out. But are they the truth? And that's where I had spoken about how can you really have that check, whether it's just a belief or is it reality. I'm not good enough. Now that's a belief that has been governing me. Now, is it the truth that I'm really not good enough, or is it just a belief? Something happened in my life and I created this belief, which is, by the way, unique to each one of us. Basis our experiences, our way, learnt way, conditioning of responding, we create our beliefs, right? Now, I realized it's just a belief. There have been n number of instances where I have been enough, I've been amazing, brilliant, but I'm stuck with that I'm not good enough, right? So for me, it's a belief. Now, once I've realized that, if these limiting beliefs of yours are just your perceptions that you picked on, and now that you've chosen that you don't want to be at the mercy of your limiting beliefs, it is time to take charge. But you must understand that by design, now this is the answer to your question, to our topic today. How can you really bring about that change when you keep going back to your old self? You must understand that by design, your brain will keep taking you back to running these beliefs or patterns of yours again and again. So you will keep going back to that. That's the design of the brain. As a result, you may feel irritated, frustrated, you may want to give up. You may end up beating yourself and reinforcing the self-beliefs and tags. Every time I go back to I'm not good enough, despite the fact that I know it's just a belief, I'll keep going back to that. My brain will again take me to, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And then I'm going to feel very, very irritated and I'll be like, see, I'm not good enough. I run that pattern again. That will govern, that will impact my actions. That action will give me a certain result. And I'm again going to say, see, I'm not good enough. I know that. And that will lead to more frustration, more anger, more irritation, more hopelessness. Happens? As a result, you may feel irritated, frustrated. You may want to give up. You may want to give up on doing the work that you're doing. You may end up beating yourself and reinforcing the self-beliefs and tags. Yes, this will happen for sure. So it's absolutely natural. Hence, it becomes important to listen very carefully. Hence, it becomes important to accept where you are currently and who you are at this moment. I'm going to read this out once again. It becomes very, very, very important to accept where you are currently and who you are at this moment. That's what we are resisting all the time. We are fighting against it. मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ? Why am I like this? Why am I behaving like this? Why am I thinking like this? Why am I feeling like this? I'm not supposed to feel like this. I should not do this. We are so obsessed by that. Accept every feeling and emotion of yours without exception. Trust me, this is very powerful, and listen to me very carefully, and just reflect upon it as you are listening to me. Just be with me and apni life mein please reflect kariye. How do you do things and what is the impact of this? Okay, so when you accept every feeling, every emotion without any exception, okay, acceptance will help you be centered. Okay, after all, these are just beliefs. Once you are calm and peaceful, so you get centered, once you are calm and peaceful and can connect to your feelings and emotions without any lens, without any filters, you will be able to think about the way forward. Now consider what is happening right now, that every time you want to do the work, which means this is the belief which is governing me, which is driving me, and I get sucked into it every time. So for example, I'm not good enough. Now I know it's a belief. I have my mechanism, because of the work that I've done, I have my mechanism of getting out of it or going beyond this belief. So I know, let's say I'm in a gathering, somebody walks up to me and talks maybe a little critically about my work. For example, I am instantly sucked into I'm not good enough, because it's a threat for me. Not a real threat, but it's a perceived threat for my brain. So my brain will instantly detect a threat. Oh, she's criticizing. And why is it a threat? Because the belief that's running me is I'm not good enough. And instantly I will maybe get defensive, I will get shut down, I will start sulking, whatever is my usual way of responding. So I go back to it again, the same way of responding. My brain will take me back there. Now I'm going to think to myself, oh my God, again? I know it is just a belief, but again I've gone back there. Doesn't work. This is, how can I do this? Despite all the work that I have done, I still keep going back there. I can't feel like this. She just criticized me. It was rather constructive criticism. Why am I feeling so bad? How can I feel like this? How can I sulk? Why am I doing this? And we get into that endless loop. I'm sure you'll be able to relate. It's going to be unique to each one of you. See, get into your lives and see, where do you do this? And what is that underlying belief? And as a result of that belief, how do you respond? And every time you go back to it, you beat yourself. How can I? Why am I? I shouldn't be doing this. How can I feel like this? Why this emotion? Etc., etc., etc. The key is you've got to accept yourself. Hi, Kavya. The key is you've got to accept yourself. When I say accept yourself, means whatever place that you are in terms of what you're feeling, what emotion you're going through, how you're behaving, what is that belief that you have, everything, accept it. Accept it means without any lens, without any filter, without any biases. Just accept it, that this is where I am right now. The first step was awareness, right? That this is how I'm feeling, all of it. Now you accept it. Once you will accept, because right now what you're doing is, when you're saying, I cannot, why I can't be doing this, I should be doing this, then you are resisting it. You're putting all those question marks, you are resisting it. You cannot do this, I cannot do this, I can't be doing this. Right? When you are resisting, more of it is going to happen. It's not that when you resist, you'll get out of it or you'll start to feel better. No. I'm sure you would have noticed the more you resist, it persists. It'll make you feel worse. Now we have this huge stigma that, one, I cannot go and tell anybody. How can I tell anybody that this is how I'm feeling? And number two, this whole list of to do and not to do. I can't be feeling like this. So we have put ourselves under filter, we resist, we beat ourselves, thrash ourselves, and we get worse and worse. Now I'm saying you've got to accept without any biases. No matter, as per you, however horrible that feeling is, however pathetic you think about yourself, just accept it. And I'm not saying acceptance means you give yourself a license or you say, okay, I'll continue to do this. No, that's not what I'm saying. When I say acceptance, all I'm saying is just be okay with it, that this is where I am and I'm fine. Because understand, you need to get, when I'm saying you need to get okay with it, when you are in that mode of cannot be, should not be, should be, have to, must do this, right? Questioning yourself, beating yourself, resisting it, then you cannot really think about what to do next. You cannot think about what work needs to be done or how do I go beyond this. You cannot, because you're busy addressing that. You're busy resisting that. All your energy is going there. Now, when you've accepted it, you will be calm. It's okay. I'm not feeling good enough. I'm sulking because she walked up to me and she said, hey, Aastha, this wasn't as good. You could have done better. Whatever. It's okay if I'm sulking. How am I feeling? So again, getting aware and then accepting. Okay, this makes me feel maybe worthless. It makes me feel not good enough. It makes me feel this, And once you accept, you get centered, you feel calm. I'm not saying you'll feel like wow, but you'll get calmer. You'll get more peaceful. And when you are calmer and peaceful, you will be able to think about what to do next. So if you really want to do something constructive, you really want to move forward, go beyond what's limiting you, then this is a must. Getting back to that peaceful, calm state. Yeah. So all that you have discovered about yourself, okay, all that you've discovered about yourself in the previous chapter, so which means last time we spoke about the limiting beliefs, all the limiting beliefs, the patterns that you've discovered about yourself, now that's been a journey. Some of you may have figured out the patterns. Let me tell you, it's not something that you do overnight. It's a journey, it's a process, because there are so many beliefs which are there in your subconscious and that are governing you. So it takes a lot for you to really identify those beliefs. Okay. Now, it has taken a lot on your part, and this work is something you should be immensely proud of. Now, when I got my belief that I'm not good enough, trust me, it's like you've hit a jackpot. Why do I say so? Because if I get to know what is it that stops me every time, what is it that holds me back, which is that pattern, which is a recurring pattern, every time and it comes and stands tall in front of me, it stops me. If I get to know that, isn't it equivalent to hitting a jackpot? So that work is every bit worth it. You need to acknowledge yourself. If you are getting aware, if you make even this much of progress, if you identify, in one moment when you're feeling horrible and you get to be aware and you see, okay, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through right now. Please acknowledge yourself, because it takes a lot. It's not easy. So you've got to be immensely proud of yourself. Now with your belief system in your hands, so if you know what are those beliefs that are governing you, that are holding you back, when you have that belief system in your hands, before your eyes, and with the knowledge that this is not true, these are just beliefs which you've picked up during your upbringing, from your experiences, from what you've heard from other people, what you've seen around. When you know this is not true, these are just beliefs, you need to bring in lots of compassion and love for yourself. We look for that compassion and love outside, but you need to bring in that love, compassion for yourself. Okay, I'm feeling like this. It is pathetic. It is horrible, but that's okay. It's fine. It's okay if I'm feeling this way. It's okay if I'm jealous. It's okay if I feel like hitting that person. It's okay if I don't even want to look at his face. It's okay if I don't like him criticizing me. Accept it. Just acknowledge it. Bring in that love and compassion for yourself. Okay? Do not treat it as a report card to judge your performance. Isn't that what we do? Constantly judging ourselves. Oh, this is right. Wow, this is something great that I did. This is pathetic. I can't be doing this. And we're constantly judging and ranking and marking ourselves. Just to give you an example, a woman entrepreneur I was working with, she was a client, she had tears flowing down as she stood face to face with her beliefs about her son. She felt responsible for the relationship getting bitter, her and her son's relationship. Okay. While that opened up a whole new world for her, but feeling guilt for the past didn't serve much. She was in complete guilt. My behavior, my beliefs have gotten this to happen. But that didn't help. She couldn't see the opportunity lying before her until she put aside the guilt and accepted herself with all the grace. She was literally in tears, felt pathetic about herself. She couldn't stop her tears because she felt what she had done was equivalent to a crime. What have I done to my son? But do you think when you are in that mode, like I said, every time you are occupied with a disempowering emotion, you're beating yourself, all your energy is directed in that direction. And you have no energy left to look at something constructive, which is more forwarding. The moment she could put aside her guilt, that, okay, what has happened has happened. Now I just want to stop being guilty. So she put aside her guilt. And that is when she could really start to think, okay, there's an opportunity. Now that I know, things are more in control. When you know what is it, when you're able to nail it, when you're able to identify it, isn't it amazing? Yes, for once you will feel guilty, you will feel horrible, you will want to maybe kill yourself, but think about it, on a broader, in a broader perspective, it's a beautiful thing. You've been able to really identify what is it that's really causing the trouble, and now you can do something about it. It becomes very important to accept yourself each time your brain takes you back to the disempowering emotions. So how to powerfully bring in that change? Very important part. Accept it, and every time your brain takes you back to your old self, you have to, every time you have to accept yourself. It may be 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Don't assign a number. And that's something I always say, that when it comes to your kids, when it comes to your parents, when it comes to your loved ones, you are willing to give them unlimited chances to bounce back. Don't you give them? What happens when it comes to you? Please be willing to give yourself n number of chances. You keep going back to that old one. Bring in that love, bring in that compassion, accept yourself, come back. Again, your brain will take you there. Love, compassion, acceptance, bounce back. It's again going to take you back there. Love, compassion, acceptance, bounce back. You've got to keep doing that. That's the muscle that you've got to build. Yeah. You need to say to yourself, it's okay. I accept myself for who I am. And then you need to really do that. Don't just say it. You really need to accept yourself for who you are. No matter what, no matter how painful. This is the first step, which is accepting yourself as is. And accepting others as they are, that's the second part of the acceptance journey. I'm not going there right now. That's what follows, in the chapter. But what I want to let you know, and which is very, very critical, and I have also experienced it, and even now there are times when I'm not accepting myself. I see that very clearly. There are times when I am questioning, doubting, thrashing myself, beating myself, and Sometimes, because of the work that I've done, because of the muscle that I've built, I'm able to snap out of it. I see it, I get aware, I accept, and I bounce back. But there are times, the testing times, there are times where I'm not able to bounce back instantly. I'm not accepting myself. I get so critical of myself. I'm like, how can I think like this? Why am I judging the other person? How can I speak like that? Why am I not liking it? There's some problem with me. I get so critical of myself. But all I want to let you know is it's okay. It's okay. If you're not going to give that love, compassion to yourself, who else will? And you are looking for it outside. Let my spouse bring in that compassion, my partner bring in that compassion, my child bring in that love and compassion. They must understand. They must accept me. But the question is, am I accepting of myself? So, what I want to speak out very loud and clear, I want to reinforce that, say it again and again, that it's a journey. It's a journey. Don't put a timer there, don't put a number to it. Every time you do the work, you take charge, you make that move, and you are hit, you go back to your old self. Accept yourself. It's okay. Say it to yourself. It's okay. हो गया, कोई बात नहीं, that's fine. Now what can I do? Because the moment you are centered, the moment you calm, the moment you accept, you will feel at peace. And then you'll be able to think, okay, ho gaya. Do I want to repeat it? Do I want to really get back in that zone? No. Okay, let me see what is my lesson here. Let me see what did I see? What was the trigger? So then you do the work, of course. It's not about just accepting and sitting by, oh, okay, Aastha said, let's accept it, and I just keep accepting myself and I'm not doing anything. No, that doesn't work, of course. Acceptance in the context of doing the work. So when I'm doing that work, when I'm committed to doing that work for myself, within that framework, within that landscape, accepting myself, giving that space, giving that grace to myself. That's what I'm talking about. And that is the first step to a powerful beginning. If you really want to bring about that change, it starts by accepting yourself. Yeah. I hope the message is loud and clear. And this one is really critical. So those of you who have been watching, if you're still there, some of you I see are there, please let me know what's your takeaway. Did you find any value in today's session? And yes, like I say, it always makes sense only if you take some action. So what is the action that you're going to take from today's session? What are you really going to do every time you go back to your old self? Every time your brain takes you back to your routine behaviors, takes you back to your limiting beliefs, patterns, running those, and then behaving accordingly. And then you're questioning yourself, oh my God. So what are you going to do? Yeah, stop feeling guilty, stop feeling low about yourselves. And when I say stop being that, means it's okay to do that, but I'm saying it's fine. Learn to accept it by doing it over and over again. Yeah. So do write to me. Let me know what is that action that you're taking. What was the insight you got for yourself? What did you see for yourself in your life? What is it that you've been doing? Have you been accepting yourself? Which all areas you've not been accepting yourself? Which is that area where you've been so critical about yourself? It could be in your personal space, your health, your relationships. It could be in your professional space with respect to your career. Which is that area where you've been very critical and you've not been accepting yourself? And what is the impact? How does it make you feel? What emotions you go through? Please do share. You can write to me personally also. And I would be very happy to hear from you. And yes, I'm going to see you next Sunday, same time, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, in the live show, Work on Workplace Relations with Aastha. And when I say work on workplace relations, and every time we talk about, survive or thrive, you pick up these attributes which deal with you as an individual, because every relationship outside has a source. The quality of that relationship, it all boils down to the quality of relationship that you have with yourself. And when we're talking about doing this work and what stands in the way, what holds you back, what must you do, it's all about building that powerful relationship with yourself. And that's where you will start to see the shift in your relationship with people outside. Okay, and that is where I, pick up these things as part of Survive or Thrive series. Yeah. So do write to me, and also if you've not grabbed the book, please do so. It's available on Amazon. It's there on my website. And also, thank you so much. Very, very happy to share that it's the #1 bestseller on Amazon. So thank you for all the love and support. Go ahead, grab your copy, read the book, and also share with me what you felt, what you think about it. That means a lot. So thank you so much. I hope you had a great time. You got your value. And I'm going to see you next week. Have a great week ahead. A lot of love, a lot of happiness to each and every one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.